Good morning from Ubuntua. It's 8 minutes to 7 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time. You're on Overheard FM 96.36. That's a thing. It is. I just have to do some rebranding and it's already in beta. You can go to SoundCloud and look for Overheard FM and you can push one button and you can listen to my radio station. At the moment it's in beta and it's on a loop. It's music that I like, it's music that SoundCloud infers that I like, and it's some of my interviews that I've done over the past, 15 years, maybe 16, call it 15, on Overheard Productions, on Overheard Musical Discoveries, on Overheard Bits and Pieces Overheard, I beg your pardon, a whole bunch of different things that have got Overheard in the title. Why am I focusing on this smoker's table out here? That's my coffee. That's mine in the middle there. In the middle, here in the middle, because I am in the middle of the country. I should start by saying this is Ubuntua. That's the Todd River over there. And yesterday morning I did a little piece out the front. It was a love letter to Ubuntua and to the Alice Springs Town Council. Haven't tagged them in yet, but I will. Let's get back to this one. So in the middle, now it's in the middle, that is a bottle of MG Pink Gin. Pink Gin, it was. Long since gone are any remnants of the actual gin. What's in there now is H2O, Melaleuca, eucalyptus, garlic, lemon, possibly some ginger. And that, you could drink it if you want to. I wouldn't now because it's been through many, many, many pairs of hands. Right down the bottom there. That's pretty good stuff. In fact, I've just washed my hands with it, having started to do a little bit of cleanup. I haven't been to a folk festival now for, how long's it been? June the 11th to the 14th out at Mary River this year on the fringes of the Kakadu National Park. At the Mary River Wilderness Retreat, it was called the Top Half Folk Festival, the 50th, and it was the 50th and 50 years had just been celebrated. Oh, that's a passive sentence construction, but I'll march on. Marchons. And I can't sing the rest of the words, but I know them somewhere up in the back of my cranium. Folk festivals, I love them. One of the things that I like to do if I'm up early, and usually I am because the Poets' Breakfast usually kicks off fairly early in the morning. So early, far too early for some people. But I like to get up, if I'm like now, I've had about, I'm going to say, just over 3 hours sleep. And that's typical of a folk festival. All during the day, choir practice, emceeing, singing, dancing, having chats with 30,000 people, doing interviews. And then at night, sitting around the campfire. We didn't have a campfire last night, but we could have somewhere around here. We could have had a campfire, but we didn't. And I get up early. Sitting around music, singing, chats, and a couple of drinks and stuff. Walked out of that one. Okay, I like to clean up. I don't know that I'm going to do much more here. I've done quite a bit, but then I get up early and I like to go around and clean up. At some point though, and I'm sorry to say this about folk festivals, much as I adore them for so many reasons and go great long distances to get to them, I'll say this about folk festivals. Folk people tend to be generally, as much as you can say generally about any group of people, fairly wonderful, empathetic, sensitive people who go into spaces like, I just said spaces, 1 second. Ow. They go into places like Majors Creek, Woodfordia, Cabargo, Illawarra, Bulli, Slacky Flat, Malden, St Albans, Gundagai, and I could keep going. Gundagai's all done with now. It's now Yass. However, there is a certain type of person who treats any sort of flat surface as a storage space. You know, the bin might only be around the corner, and it is, or it might even be 2 paces away, and people will still, I'll just finish that beer and I'll go and get, it's my shout, I'll get the next lot. Typically it's Cooper's beer when we're doing that, but it could be anything. But then they leave them, and I've seen this once. I took a picture at Kangaroo Valley, can't remember how long ago, but we'll call it sometime in the 2010s, and it was maybe 60 beer bottles, and I lined them all up and took a picture. There's a bin, there's a recycling bin just over there. In this case, just up there. In fact, there's about 5 or 6. They're all different colours and they're colour coded. 10-cent recyclables, brown glass, green glass, cans, clear glass. But still, people will leave them in great big piles. I did this once at Cabargo. I could probably pick the year if I thought long and hard enough about it. I'll say 2012. No, that's not even close. Call it 2018. And the lovely Janet was just coming to the end of being the bar manager. And I think she may have even handed the reins over or was in the process of picking a successor. And Janet, for those of you who know the Illawarriors, she is part of the furniture, but that's not a nice enough way to say. She is an absolute iconic part of the Illawarra Folk Festival and so many others, where she is, I call her my mum, my surrogate mother, and she just has her brood around her. Breakfast around at Janet's place is just a joy. People drop in, visitors from interstate. Typically we're at New South Wales folk festivals, although she does provide the same service down at Nariel Creek, just on the other side of the border into Victoria. They're just outside of Corryong. And people gather around her camping area where her caravan is now. She used to have a tent that she used to hang off the back of the car. And we'd have breakfast, and already she'd be thinking about the day ahead, thinking about bar duties, who's on roster, who's not turning up, who needs to be replaced, because she saw them stumbling out of the venue at 1 in the morning, and they had their wobbly boots on, and she's thinking, now they're supposed to be opening the bar at 10. I think that might be me. I'm going to find somebody else. And then she'd also be thinking, oh, that whole bar area in front of the bar down at Cabargo Folk Festival in the showgrounds there, I've got to go and clean that up. And that happened one morning. We'll call it 2018, though I could be corrected on that. And I thought, you've already had a full day. You've made us all, well, you've got breakfast on the go, and now you're already thinking about going to clean up other people's messes because they can't be bothered to walk a couple of steps and put things in bins. So I said, oh, just forgot something, I'll be back. Half an hour later I came back, and we had breakfast, and we had our sparkling Shiraz, and Martin Pearson was there, and Danny Dragonfire, and all these people had dropped in from surrounding areas. And of course the Illawarriors and a couple of people from ACT, and people would drop in and out. They'd bring their own food, or they'd share whatever we had. It was great. And then Janet got up to go, and she said, oh well, better go and clean the bar area up. And I said, oh, wait a minute. And I showed her a picture on my phone of the whole area in front of the bar. Every surface was clean, wiped down, not a bottle or a can in sight, not a piece of paper on the ground, not a bottle cap. The whole area, it might have been an hour, not half an hour. These breakfasts tend to go on, and it was a big job to do. And she looked at the picture on my phone and she said, when did you take that? And I said, oh, about 5 minutes ago. And her eyes lit up like dinner plates. I don't know if dinner plates actually light up, but you know what I mean. Wide as dinner plates. And she said, how did that happen? I said, oh, this is an hour and 5 minutes ago, or 35 minutes, I can't remember exactly which. And I flicked to the next picture on my phone, which was the place looking like an absolute sty. And I said, you're covered. Sit down, have another cup of coffee, and would you like some halloumi, or whatever it was I had. She was so grateful, and she kept thanking me. And I can't remember exactly, but I probably used one of the phrases that was given to me in the year 2000 by a lovely bloke that I used to work with called Guy. And we'd gone to a fish and chip shop. You could go there for takeaway, but it's also a lovely fine dining, and it's seafood and patate grille, or no, patate frite avec aioli et soupçon of something or other. So you get the picture. You can either go in there, get your fish and chips in your butcher's paper, or you can sit down and have a lovely seafood dinner with some fine wine or a beer or some spirits or whatever. And this was in the year 2000. And so there was Guy, his then wife Magda, and me. And the three of us, the bill came to $100. So I knew very well, and I said, I'll get my wallet, but first I really, really, really need to go to the loo. So I darted off to the loo, came back, and I said, right, grab my wallet. And he said, no, it's already paid for. I won't do the accent. Thank me now. Oh yeah, well, I will. Sorry. No ball. It's already paid for. Don't worry. It's our gift to you. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, you didn't need to do that. No, I know I didn't need to, but I wanted to. So thank you very much. I mean, you're very well. No, he didn't even say you're very welcome. I think he was waiting for me to say, well, I had said thank you, and I said it twice. And then when I went in for the third time, he gave me a phrase that 21 years ago, I have since been using it again and again and again. Ball, twice is polite, 3 times, and you're being a pain in the arse. And that's what I said to Janet that morning. She was thanking me, and it was getting tiring. Janet, twice as polite, 3 times, and you're being a pain in the arse. That shut her down, and she said, okay, I get it. Thank you, Bill. You're very welcome. I don't know what I came in here to say. Something about radio, something about Ubuntu, something about the Central Aranda lands. And this is the land of the Central Aranda. Out there is the East Aranda. Over there is the West Aranda. In the middle, that song again, In the Middle by Resin Moon. Check it out on YouTube and thank me later. No, don't thank me later. Thank Dave Crow later and Resin Moon. This is stolen ground that we are standing on, that I'm standing on. I'll get off the deck. I'm standing on stolen ground. There was no treaty, and I pay respect to the custodians of these lands, and this land in particular of Central Aranda, the people from Ubuntu, and I pay respect to the custodians, past, present, emerging, and future. From the middle of the country in Centralia, it's Bill Quinn from Overheard Productions and all those others that I did the shopping list at the start of this thing, saying it's coming up to 7 o'clock. You know, it's so past 7 o'clock news time, it's not funny. And I've got to get myself sorted out because I'm going over to 8CCC 102.1 FM community radio in Alice Springs and Tennant Creek. And I'm going to go and have some breakfast. I'm going to go and have some breakfast at the 8CCC Cafe. Good morning.